So today we're going to do a quick pick a card reading. This is timeless, so feel free to come back and revisit this reading at a later date and pick as many groups as you feel compelled to. And we have group number 1, group number 2, and group number 3. This is going to be a reading about what's next. Hi, group number 1. So you have number 31Y and we have number 6, love. Now, what our guides are saying is to put these two cards together, and we have the 10 of Swords, and they're saying to see this, if you're familiar with tarot, is to put these two together and interpret it within the 10 of Swords. And the 10 of Swords in the generic meaning of maybe an ending, a situation, like a relief. That's what I'm getting, really. It's a relief. It's not an over-exaggeration. It's a relief of something that has been weighing on you for quite some time. So they're pointing me also towards a distant memory, and they're saying this distant memory, for example, could be connected to your childhood, and it's something random. Okay, so it's seemingly random. So it could be a pleasant memory. It could just be something that seems everyday, but it's a seemingly random memory from your distant past, and you recall it every once in a while, and it's noted, okay, that's just funny or interesting that I remember such a thing because it seems insignificant to me. Well, there's some connection to what we're experiencing right now that is being represented in these two cards, where they're saying that's connected to this experience because there's something, they're connecting me, and I didn't get the full word, it wasn't auditory to me. So but as I connected to what they were saying, what they were imprinting onto me, there was a deeper feeling of love and kind of like almost not really butterflies, but you know, that like lifting of the heart, that feeling. I felt that, and so there's a connection to your heart, and this can either be someone that is being represented in these particular cards that is the relieving situation, or this has something to do with your guide, like a specific guide. It's not all your guides, it's a specific guide that has been with you. And they're giving me a person's name, like not a specific name, but what they're doing is like bringing me down to earth in the sense that it's like a human name. So your guide, if you have the name of your guide, or maybe you're going to be receiving the name of your guide, this could be what this is telling us right here for some of you. There's a connection to a guide with a human name, and it gives a human form, and is connected to this distant memory that is being represented here in a current experience. So there's a connection there that they want to point out. And then they're showing me a bunch of scallops, like scallop shells. Well, not even just the shells, like living scallops. And they're showing a bunch of them that are like going towards you. And they're going towards you, but I can see the sand. Like I feel underwater. Okay. So, they're not necessarily looking at water in the sense of emotion. They're connecting water in the sense of, they're showing me like the High Priestess card. So it's in the form of spirituality and this heightened sense of symbology that's being brought to you in a more heightened way. So this is something that's coming up for you, something next. With the scallops, they're showing it as, it's interesting because I saw some of them, they had like bubbles or pearls, right? Oh, it was like bubbles, and then I was like, is that a pearl? I'm like, do scallops even have pearls? And then they said it's like fleeting, so I can't remember exactly what they just said, but it's basically saying that you're confined. It's like, okay, hold on, let me try and complete. My goodness, it's like this must be. I think this is happening for you because I'm not hearing voice. It's like the information is coming so fast, so you might start hearing, because I'm hearing for some of you actual voices, because auditory seems to be significant here. So you might be hearing a lot of different energies. You're going to be picking up on a lot of different energies, or it's coming in so fast that so you don't have the necessity. Like, it's different for me because I'm trying to explain it to you, but you know, when it happened, when it's downloaded onto you, and then you don't necessarily have to speak it, right? So you're going to be getting a lot of information coming to you. And then they also brought this back into the real world, where they're saying, like, this person with the book in the Y, it's like you're actually physically going to be receiving a lot of information in the physical and then also in the spiritual. Okay, so back to what I was saying is, so like we have to abide by certain laws of the world, right? Like physical laws, like the laws of physics and just how everything kind of obviously works, right? But there's so much that we can limit ourselves into kind of what's the word? Not projecting, but it's like we just kind of continuously conform to a certain way to where that makes it reality. And so they're saying that with the what's represented with the pearl is there's so much left unknown that it could potentially limit you in what you, it's almost like say it in a different way. Like we're sending you a lot of information, okay? Because all these scallops there, that's also representative of your, it's not just your guides, it's like spiritual information coming towards you. And it's like you're only limited of your interpretation, your not necessarily acceptance, but receiving the information, right? Like hearing the information, picking up on the information by your own terms. Like you can only put that limit there because all this information is now readily available for you. And there's again this sense of relief, okay? So as this information, it's not overburdening you, it's not overwhelming. It's like you've completed something. So look at the Ten of Swords and look at it in the sense of you've been carrying some sort of weight on you. And think about literally carrying a bunch of swords and the weight that carries. And then at the Ten of Swords, that's you're going to level up next to being the Knight, the Knight, whatever, right? And so from there, you have more ability to kind of delegate who can carry the swords, or if you need that many swords, plus you've developed all of that strength. So it's a relief. Like, I no longer have to do things the way I did prior to this, because it's like they're showing me someone who's like the act, and then they're showing the thing that like snaps. So it's like act 1, right? So it's the scene is over. And they're like, no, it's not just the scene. It's not the scene that's over. It's the show. The show is over, and it's not the show must go on. It's like the show is over, celebrating you. And the next thing is the sequel. So you're moving into the sequel, but it's on your terms, right? The sequel, like, it's almost like, I'm going to say it so many different ways, so hopefully this is really making sense. Think about someone who's performing on Broadway, and it's like day after day, multiple times, right? So it's grueling, and once that's over, it's up to that performer on if they continue to do the next role, right? So that's what I'm saying is it's a sense of completion of something, wrapping something up, being rewarded for this and acknowledged for this. And then I'm also seeing a bridging. So like they're connecting these two of like someone, this actually feels connected to like a phone, for example, or long distance, basically is what they're saying, is like something long distance and then getting closer here, okay? And then they're showing like what is this? A lion, and then these two statues, but the statues are represented again of distance and what this book would represent to me, which is that disconnect and that distance with it could be a person or something that you wanted to attain and then bringing it into reality. So it's like bridging the imagination, because then they bring High Priestess. So it's bridging that into reality. So you're bringing it into reality, and you see how they're both sleeping. They're both comforted and both safe. So this is very good. And then they're showing this as the sun. They're showing this the sun. So this is happy, very happy. Again, to be relieved, it's that bittersweet feeling too, right? Like if you're on Broadway and you commit yourself to something that you're so passionate about, and you love the people that are performing with you, then as it ends, there's a little tinge of sadness and nostalgia. And so it's kind of that feeling, but also the relief of what's next. Let's expand this. And that's like, we did it. This is amazing. We did it. And that's really the feeling that I'm getting here, is even if you're putting something from your past behind you, this is opening up the doors and the opportunity to something that is even bigger. Let's not say even bigger, because there's something about the past that we're talking about, that there's no competition with the past necessarily. And it's not that something's bigger or better. It's just this new chapter that you're going to move into this phase and you're going to be very happy in. You're bringing me back to the scallops again, and they're like, okay, we want to say some more things with the symbology of the scallops. This is also like renewal. They're showing this as a rebirth. Okay, so not necessarily the death card, because I'm seeing the death card from one of my decks, and they're showing it because there's the sun that rises in the background, but it looks like they're showing it as like setting and rising in my mind, okay? And then they're showing it as like it's like not what it seems. So it's almost like this feeling of like something that would, the fear part would kind of indicate, does this mean that it's final? Like, does this mean that this situation's over? And they're saying no, like it's something, if this is something that you really desire, then that message of it being over, don't take it to the extreme of trying to interpret it as a loss, a sense of loss, because this is not a sense of loss. It's the sense of a rebirth. It's the sense of it never it's like it's not natural for something, and then they're showing like literal death, and it's like, you don't just disappear, right? Like you decompose, like you're not just vanishing, like talking about the physical, right? You don't vanish. And then also spiritually speaking, the same thing. You don't vanish. So there's this feeling of it's changing its form. It's not changing its inherent truth, right? The spirit changes form. The body changes form. Plants change form, right? So on and so forth. So they're wanting you to not go down a route that, this is probably just for some of you, but it's like, don't be afraid, don't be fearful and think the worst. This is very good. This is not the worst. This is the best case scenario for you. And so just keep that in mind. It's a feeling of new opportunity. It's a feeling of freedom. It's a feeling of happiness. It's a feeling, again, they're showing the scallops and cleansing. And then I heard, I think there's a song, they're like scallops and lobsters, or scallops and the lobsters. But, and they're showing the song, and then again, it's like this cute, like pink scallop and a pearl, and they're saying, they're connecting it to wisdom and luxury, like this new phase of being. So what's next is you're moving into a more refined, luxurious way of living. And the luxury feels minimalist in the sense of like I'm seeing, for this might just be symbolic or not, if this is what you want or this is what you have. It's like a yacht, and I can see things that are like curtains that are flowing. It's like very flowy, okay? And then I'm just seeing light colors, right? And like clear, it's not clear sky, but clear water. You know, like it's not rough water. And then you can just see in the distance, and it's very simple, right? Like there's boats, there's people, but it's not like so much clutter. It's kind of what I'm feeling, is like there's not a lot of clutter everywhere. So it's this simplicity that I'm getting that feels luxurious. So it's like having things around you that enrich your daily life and improve your sense of being. And that's what you're surrounded by. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. And then I'm seeing clarity, clouds clearing, clarity here. And the clarity comes after a sense of joy. So, and then it continues and continues and continues. More clarity, more joy, more clarity, more joy. Because they're showing me a sun, and it kind of looks like this, but more cloudy, like this, where the sun is peeking back there, and that's representing how you feel internally. That even if the answers aren't necessarily clear right now, or the direction, or like the how-to of getting this to work out, I'm still happy because I'm living in that truth. And that starts bringing in the clarity and the information, and kind of just helps the scallops move along and clean everything up. So that's what I'm seeing for you, group number 1, and I will see you in my next video. Archangel Michael might be significant for you here as well. Bye. Group number 2. So if you were drawn to group number 1, then this might be another confirmation for you. I do get similar energies, but there seems to be either more clarity here, or this is just different information. So you can be the best judge of that. I feel like there's a sense of relief, okay? And this relief seems to be in reviewing past relationships, decisions. It's a life review. And I heard the song Drunk in Love by Beyonce as I was meditating, so that might be significant for someone out there. Maybe something in the lyrics or the music video, or maybe you'll hear that song randomly somewhere, and that's going to be another sign for you. So I'm getting two sets of messages from the Seven of Fire. The Seven of Fire is showing me, like, they're saying it in different ways. Like, you're getting two sets of specific information that's going to be significant to you. So, and they're saying, like, an improvement in your finances, and then an improvement in your health. So there are two major things that have been weighing on you, or that you've just been heavily influenced by, something that you've just been dedicating a lot of your energy towards. And those two major things, the top two things, are going to see improvements. But when I say that, they take me to the top one and then they move me to the left side of my brain. And then it kind of feels like the colors of the background in the card. And so they're saying that this is something green. So that might be significant again to finances. But it also, because I looked and they brought me to what's in front of me behind the camera, and it's a philodendron. It's actually a white knight philodendron that my friend bought for me. It was a birthday gift for me, and so they're bringing that up. I'm just telling you the details of it because maybe there's something in there that will resonate with you. It's like something or someone close to you is something financial or green, because like money, at least in America, it's green. It's colorful sometimes in other places, but something green, and like it's almost like it can continue, right? Like I could sell cuttings of that plant if I wanted to, right? So it can continue, or the money you can invest it and it can continue. You see what I'm saying? So there's some sort of feeling of growth from that top first left thing that I was just talking about. And then I saw the word ching, like cha-ching. So I think it's finances. Everything's pointing me to money. So something connected there. Okay. They come to the edge. They're bringing me to this because they're bridging these two together. So maybe this is me just getting more specific for you guys. And thank you for being patient with me. So, maybe this is romantic, but this feels like very independent. Like, I'm gonna be who I am, irregardless. You're gonna love me or not. This is who I am. And so they're bringing me back to like that life review and this reflection I'm seeing of the past and being like, okay, it feels like. And then they show, okay, so again, this kind of reminds me of group one, but a little bit more specific, and they showed me a book. Well, specifically, it kind of feels like a journal or like a baby, what's it called? Picture book, a baby album. It could be like estate papers, some sort of financial planning, something. It seems very personal to me, right? So personal to you. And so it's this feeling of I'm evaluating who I am. This could even be represented as like a therapist or something, but it's like, but again, I think it has to do with health. But it's bigger than just health. Okay, so let's kind of bring it back in. So it's like health and being like, okay, where am I at with my health? Whether this is physical health, mental health, this could even be all these things that are finally getting more traction with the somatic exercises, lymphatic drain, like all of these things, right? It's like, where's my health at? Where do I stand here? Or even voicing my truth. How does this affect my mental health? How does this affect my physical health? I'm acknowledging all of this and dissecting every little piece of it, and then structuring this feeling. It's a feeling of not a new identity, but that refined identity of like, this is exactly who I am, and I know why I developed into who I am, and I also know inherently who I am, like spiritually speaking, or like just in a bigger scope, and kind of what my goals are. And I'm seeing like also setting plans, like annual trips or annual goals, or like something to do like yearly that is going to be or is significant to you. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be, but it's like maybe bringing back something that is significant that you're going to continuously, maybe this has to do with the birthday too, right? That happens annually. Maybe happy birthday to someone if it's nearby, or I'm going to celebrate my birthday next, or I'm going to be more intentional with my birthday. It's this feeling of like almost like admiring self in a new way and being very intentional. And I'm seeing the moon. I'm seeing the moon represented as like this healing, meditative, deep space, and very like the womb. So I'm seeing the moon connected to the womb and very matronly. So it's this feeling of connecting and deepening that connection with the feminine side of self, and being more, it's interesting because it's being more receptive of others. So it's being more approachable, but also being approachable with self. And then they showed this as a sea urchin that this woman is standing on, and they're representing the sea urchin as it's turned upside down, so all the spikes are not obviously harming her, and then that's the side that's like safer, and she's stepped away from the mouth. And so they're showing this as protection. It's like this feeling of faith and knowing you're protected and feeling safe in being protected and having firm boundaries and feeling good about it. It's not questioning myself or questioning if it's this feeling of self-confidence. And again, love me or hate me, this is who I am, and I'm going to only be me. I'm not going to compromise on who I am. And I'm going to celebrate myself. So it goes back to like the birthdays and the annual things. It's this feeling of celebrating myself so it feels like the word I saw was organic. So there seems to be like this, some sort of like organic feeling to it. But again, it's this all encompassing. It's really what I'm trying to hone in on. It's kind of like, I want to specify this because this is important somehow, but it's like, it's not just celebrating, when people just come together and they celebrate, it's like, it's not just for the sake of festivities. It's the sake of this person I honor and I see clearly. It's that feeling, like it's everything. So there's just a lot of clarity that I get here of like who you are, where you're headed, why you're headed that way, how you developed you to who you are. And then I noticed that the saddle is empty on here. And it feels like it's fit there. I heard fit for a king or fit for a queen. So it's, and you are the king or the queen. And so it's this person right here, right? And they're both facing the same direction, but I'm actually seeing this card also reversed. So it's being represented in both ways, where It's just this feeling of I'm not compromising. I will not compromise. And her jumping on this horse in due time, like this horse is not going to flee because it belongs to her. And you see they're also very similar, right? All of these little pieces here and then the little petals. So it's, they're reflecting each other here. And when you're living in this way, you're going to be guided to exactly what it is that you're looking for. Like your intuition is going to guide you exactly where it needs to be. I saw this glimpse of Sedona. That might be significant for someone here. I feel the masculine energy surrounding this reading. So there could be males that are picking this group more so than maybe the other groups, or there's a male figure that's surrounding you in some way. He feels young-ish, like 30s, 20s maybe. So like a young man, maybe early 40s. I just feel like young, but not too unaware. But then I feel somewhere that's like Sedona, where it's a little bit dry, clay. I'm also seeing like a coffee shop. So that might be important here for someone. And then I feel closeness of family. So it's like gathering of family, feeling close, and having a similar experience. Like could be a similar spiritual experience. So if you're with people you consider family, and then you all gather and have a similar spiritual revelation or imprint of something together. So that's what I'm saying that's coming up next for y'all, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Number 3. So the feeling I'm getting from your particular selection of cards is a feeling of pushing through some worries or maybe insecurities. There is a feeling of, like, I'm seeing this as your guide and they're observing you pushing through, you going the distance, and it seems like you're honoring your heart, you're honoring what it is that you truly want, and you're releasing yourself from anything that you felt would have been holding you back. Because I'm seeing this as a bunch of little things, right? Like as this cheetah is kind of turning to dust in this depiction, it's kind of what I feel. Like all those little dust particles are things that were holding you back. And then I'm also seeing a tea kettle, like a tea party. It feels very whimsical, but it also feels very comforting. So that's what I see is coming next for you, is you pushing past insecurities. And I'm seeing like a garden setting, and it's very well maintained, like it's manicured. And then I'm seeing the tea set. And then I'm seeing in the distance, so it's like this secret garden, like very protected kind of castle, well-maintained castle. And then in the distance is just society, like today. So this kind of feels like a step into the past, you know, and like something that's just very, I don't know, it's kind of like what's depicted in movies, I feel. And then again, in the distance, it's like New York City or something, where there's just so much happening and so much interference. And so something else I'm getting here, this might be kind of creating more clarity in what I'm saying, is you could be pushing past, well, okay, it feels like a lot of interference, okay, but it seems like some of the contributing factor could be electronic interference, and even just like telepathic, like a mental interference. So all the thoughts and energy connected to people surrounding you. So you could be living in a very populated area, and you kind of distancing yourself from that, or even if you've been kind of entertaining social media more often than you have been, or just letting your mind race, or if you are connecting to a lot of energies more, it seems to be something that you've been doing progressively more. And then I just saw the word sugar. So it could even be something to do with your diet. So maybe something that's not necessarily healthy that you've been incorporating into your diet that is somehow lowering your ability to detect when those other frequencies are coming through, and so you're not readily available to kind of fight it off as well as you normally can. So that's what I'm getting, is like kind of where you were at. Maybe it doesn't have to be like to an extreme degree, but that seems to be highlighted here. So what's next is that you're going back to center, and in that you're going to feel more clarity, you're going to feel more at peace, you're going to feel like that maintained garden with the tea kettle, like something very protected and timeless and calm and soothing. But then it brings me to the goldfish, and I'm seeing this as a pair. So like a pair of lovers, or a pair of someone that you feel very, very fond of. And so what's next is a clear connection with someone. So this could also be someone that you haven't been able to spend time with, or even spend time with alone, because it does feel solitary in the sense that it's just the two of you. And I'm seeing this as not the barrier, but like the filter into the two goldfish. And then I'm seeing this as like for life. So this is someone that you feel is going to be with you for life. This could also be an initiation into meeting someone. But the initiation, this is where your guide is coming through, where they're observing you and they're very happy and proud of you for you to commit yourself to your heart and what it is that you believe and feel, and clear out the things that are not serving you, those small little dust particles. And then you're moving past, and then in this you're embracing your heart and that wisdom of your heart, and that's giving you the authority to feel like you have the space, like you have the capacity to be, not just entertain this person, but be with this person. And just feels very natural. This feels like a very natural setting, very calm. It goes back to that garden setting I'm talking about, and it feels like this person is a ride or die. Like this is someone that when everyone fled, this person stuck by you, or this person's always been connected to you energetically. So as things in your life have changed or evolved, this person has always been there. They're a constant in your life, and your guides want to point this out because they don't want you to have unnecessary concerns. Again, anything that's just based out of fear, lack of self-confidence, something that's holding you back that is not your truth, right? And then this card specifically talks about kind of like again, the same thing, like just living in your truth, and that you kind of create that destiny for you. You create kind of like how you perceive things, right? And so that's what I'm seeing is like what's next is none of that's going to interfere with you in the way that it did in the most recent past. And as you move out of that energy completely, this is going to allow a person, it does feel like an individual, to be welcome into your space and you to enjoy their company, and they enjoy yours as well. And this is someone that they're here for you forever. I feel like I should be pulling another card, so I'm going to do that. We have Justice and the Seven of Air. Yeah, this is saying like whatever it is that you dream of for you, and it's almost like this feeling of like quirky ideas or like quirky beliefs or quirky scenarios, like things that maybe seem like they might not necessarily make sense to others, or it's like, you know, maybe, I don't know, like for instance, like if I were just to go out to the grocery store and, you know, I give someone $20 or whatever, sorry, kick the camera, and then they're like, why did you do that? And I could just easily kind of, like, I'd be afraid that they're gonna think I'm like a crazy lunatic weirdo and be like, my guides told me this morning that I should do this, da 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 da. So I'm like, you know, I don't know, I just felt like giving today. Make sure to give back too if you can, or pass it forward, whatever they do, you know, make you pay for someone else or something. So instead of doing that, I honor what I believe, I honor what I feel, I honor that quirky, seemingly quirky truth. And I tell them exactly that. This is an example. I don't see this for you of like giving someone money. I mean, if you feel like you should, then yeah. But anyway, it's like following those intuitive hits and not hiding that reasoning if you feel like you should, right? Obviously where it's appropriate. Maybe your intuition's telling you not to, right? But just follow that. And that's honoring yourself and not allowing yourself to change, like alter who you are, or even restrict your heart in this. And that's going to build, you know, heaviness when you're trying to go the distance, you're trying to gain the momentum. So the more that you just kind of let things roll off your back, and honor those beliefs you may have, the easier it's going to be for you. They're giving me another example because that's what they're doing, where it's like someone who's walking, like they're just going, they're walking confidently, and then they're listening to like self-help or something, like an audio book as they're walking, and then they feel the shyness walking past someone. Oh, I better turn it off, I don't want them to hear me listening to this. And so instead of doing that, you're shutting it off because you're afraid of how they're gonna perceive you. You're not doing it because you're being mindful of if, you know, they don't want to hear it kind of thing. So instead, let it play, because maybe that person's gonna need to hear something from that and you deliver that. Or maybe that's an author, you know, that they recognize, and then now you have this budding connection with them. And then I'm seeing how I laid the 11 on top of the 2, and they're showing this obviously as Roman numeral 2. So just continue to do that. And then even with the justice, like the scales of justice, it's almost like not necessarily justifying what you do, but honoring what you do. Like, you don't have to justify yourself, basically. Like, you just be yourself, and there's no justification in that. Then, like, you don't have to answer to anyone with that. And also, this is bringing in justice for you. It's bringing in fairness for you, because the more fair you are with yourself and on yourself, the more that's going to be reflected in the external environment, in the sense that people are going to respond by respecting you living who you are and you not backing down, right? So even if there's a challenge, you're not going to back down because it's you. And it's also going to welcome in someone or an experience that is just going to continue to build that confidence, is what I'm seeing here. They're really wanting you to embrace your imagination, is what I'm getting. They really want you to embrace these like lighter feelings connected to you. And I'm just seeing like these blues. It's like Tiffany blue though. That's kind of Tiffany blue, but it's kind of almost like blue with a tinge of like kind of green or something. You know, it's like Tiffany blue. That's what I'm getting. And there's something more, so I'm going to split the deck. We have 9 of fire. It seems this is I'm not sure if this is interconnected or in the next subject. It seems like there's a project that you have worked on that's now part of your routine. So let's say that this is, for instance, a fitness routine. Okay, so it's like a project. Okay, I'm going to be working on myself. So now this is inherent. Now I just work out constantly, you know, constantly. 3 days a week I work out. And so it's now you're in a point where, let me add something new. Let me add a new project. So I'm working out consistently, then I'm compiling on another project. And it seems that this next project that you're working on, that you have this focus on, is heavenly guided, like heavily and heavenly guided by your guides. And what's next? What's next? It seems like you're taking this out into the world. And again, it has something to do, it's connected. It's something to do with you it's like you, it's almost like someone taking something to the farmer's market. And it's interesting because it's like, because you've been working out, it somehow builds something for you. So it's like it builds your confidence, or like now like a fitness person automatically, like someone equally fit, you know, like you're like, I don't know, like super muscular, so then someone else super is like, oh, that person really works out, let me go talk to them. Like they already feel at ease. And then they're also someone that's connected to whatever you're selling at the farm, like you're selling these, you know, wind chimes or something, star wind chimes. And so then they like work for, you know, a wind chime company, or you know, or they're like a distributor or something, I don't know, something. So it's like the project that you were working on prior, that's now part of your routine, is also working for you as you work on this next project. And so what's next is you pushing past any sort of limiting beliefs and lack of self-confidence. And this is allowing like this would be a third element, I feel. Like this person that does this, they would kind of be serving as the guide here, right? Like your guide could bring this person in and help free up, you know, more space in your life for you to have this connection with that person that is your ride or die, right? Am I making sense here? Hopefully I am. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys, and I'll talk to you in my next video. You know, it's funny because I was talking about the Tiffany, and you think the Tiffany lamp, we'll use that example instead. And so when times you're doing the lamps. Anyway, bye.